Hello, everyone. This is Matthew Sweeney explaining my final project, the book tracker. So the purpose of the application was to keep track of books that the user has either read or would like to read. And so to do that, I'd like to first explain a little bit of the code involved and then do a run through of the application itself. So the first bit is the SQL code. This just created the tables that were necessary for the application of the function. And there are three tables involved. There's the user table, which tracks the user information. So when they log in or when they create an account, this information right here would populate into this table. The genre table is just keeping track of the book genres, and they each have an ID attached to the genre. And then the read list is where the user's books are kept, the ones that they've both read and would have not read. So you can see there's fields for the title, genre, ID, author, the read date, and the read date can be a null value because if they haven't read it, it'll be null. And then you can see the primary key, the read list ID, and the foreign keys, the users going back to the user table, and then the genre going back to the genre table. And then the rest of the information just populates some sample information just so I could demonstrate the purpose of this application. So the main index of the page is actually, when you first land on the page, it gives you two options of to either sign in or log on, create an account or to log into your account. There's not really much interesting in that page. It just gives you those two options, and you can go from there to either the sign up index, which controls the sign up process, or the login index, which controls everything else basically. So this is the sign up index, and there's not really a whole lot here. You'll sign up through this sign up form here, which just enters your email, password, first name and last name, and then submits it or resets the form. And then these basically just take whatever action you've entered. If you reset it, just zeroes out everything. Registering will take the information that you've entered and then validate it using the validate functions found over here in the validate model. And this will validate using regular expressions here to see if it's an email, whether or not the name is blank, whether or not the password meets the requirements. Yeah, this is used for something else. So basically, just make sure that the information you entered was fine and met the business rules. And then if it does, then it just adds a new user using the add new user right here, this function right here, which just inserts the information into the user table. So that's basically it, and then it'll take you to a success page, which just prompts you to basically go log in using this. So this is the login control, and it'll basically handle all the other functions of the application. So the first thing it does, if you don't have anything entered in, it'll just take you to the login screen, which is this right here. That'll just prompt you to go right here to the login, to enter your email and your password, and then log in. If you haven't entered the information correctly, if the user doesn't exist, for example, that's what this does. It's checking for user basically. And if the user does not exist, it'll prompt this error message. And basically that, if we go down to here, the users, so check for user, it'll basically just check to see if that email address already exists in it. And if it does, then it'll go back and give you the error message. And then it'll check for the password, and it'll make to see if the password is, that's what this is doing right here. It'll check to see if that email you entered matches the password that's in the database, and that's also, again, done through here, the check password function right here. Just basically where the email address matches the email and the password matches the password. And then if those two are satisfied, then it displays the book list and gets some of the information using some of the genre functions and the read list functions, and that's over here, the genre that gets all the genres. It gets the genre name, and then also the gets the books by the genre. So it'll format it by genre. Going back to the index. So after that, it'll display the book list. And this is kind of your main display for the login for each genre. And just running through this really quickly, it'll display it in a kind of a table format, showing title, author, and read date, and that's what these are running through down here. Title, author, read date for each of the book in the genre. And then after each entry, there'll be an option to delete the book from your book list, or to edit the book, which is what the show edit form is. And at the very bottom, there's also an option to add a book. Show the add form, and each of those will go to a different. It'll go back to here, and it'll change the action state to whatever it is: delete book, show the edit form, edit the book, show the add form, or add the book. And that's pretty much all. So the delete book, it's pretty simple. It'll just take the information that you posted from the book list, and then just kind of validate it pretty simply, and then run the delete book function, which is over here in the read list control. Delete book right here, which just deletes it from the database. That's pretty straightforward. The show edit form, that's basically another view that there's not really much there, so I don't think we need to see the code there. It's basically what you've seen before, just fields to enter information to edit the whatever the entry is. And then once you hit that, it'll hit submit or save changes. It'll change the action state to edit book, and then it'll run through and take the information right here that's been posted through the form, validate some of it through here. Read date is a separate validation because null values are okay in this program because that just indicates that you haven't read it. So if the read date is null, it just runs a separate program that's edit book not read. And if you go over here to the read list, edit book not read, all that does that's separate from the edit book read right here is it just enters a null value into the read date. Whereas if you go back here, if it isn't null, if there is a read date, it'll validate the date, which again, going back to the validate control here, there's a validate date just to make sure that the date is in a correct format. And then it's provided that it is, it'll run the edit book read, meaning that the read date actually has a value now, and that's inserted into the table and then displayed. Show the add form is basically the same type of thing. It's a different form where you just enter in information for a new book. The main difference is that you can choose the genre that you want to add, whereas the edit, it was already chosen. So the add book, once you've selected or hit save changes to the add book form, it'll change the state to add book. And again, same type of thing, take the information through that's been posted, validate it here, and then check to see if the read date is null or not. And if it is null, then it inserts a null value into that field. If it is not null, then it validates it to make sure it's in the correct format, and then uses this function, add read book, which takes these, the basic variables of the form and inserts it into the right here, inserts it into the read list table. And it's, again, this is all tied through using the user ID, so it's only going to display the books, and it's only going to add books with that user ID, which is going to tie the specific items in the table to a given user. So that's kind of the basic code here. So let's just go ahead, and there's some views here that basically just, if you look into the book list here, the view up here, which just is the header. There's the navigation pane, which is pretty self-explanatory. You use it to navigate around through the different genres. And then there's the footer, which has the footer information. So kind of just a run through of the site itself. Sign up here would be you can sign up, and if you don't have anything, it'll prompt you. You can create a new email. If the email already exists, it won't add it. It's again just a little check for the user there. If you add if you don't do a proper email, it'll tell you that it's not a valid email. So we can kind of just make a dummy account here. And let's see. Simple@email.com. Okay, so there it's telling me that it's been registered, and now it's prompting me to log in. So the login here, I'm going to log in using one that already has some information created, just so I don't have to spend time just making entries. So log in. Okay, so this one already has some information. Here's a book in the biography section and a read date. And then you can go up here and choose different sections. There's the sci-fi section here. There's nothing in there. Classics, there's nothing in there either. I think I've been deleting stuff. So here's one that actually has an entry. We can go back to biography here and edit that if we want to. We can change the date here to, I don't know, let's say today. There it changes the read date. And then we can go to something else. Let's say modern here. Say we want to say, no, that I didn't actually read that. There we go. The read date's empty there. And then we can add a book. Let's say we want to add something to classic. And let's say Tom Sawyer. I know that's not the full name there, but good enough for right now. And then author, Mark Twain. And the read date is, again, let's just say today for simplicity's sake, and add the book. And there we go. It's added here. Now there are other entries in the database. They're just not showing because they're not tied to this specific the specific user. So it's only showing books that are going to be connected to this user. Then you can delete that book if you need to, and kind of scroll around to different sections. So that's basically the application. It's pretty simple, but it does effectively do what the proposal had indicated, which is to track the books that a specific user has read or not read or wants to read. All right, so thank you very much.